Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, a pretty new YouTube horror channel that I'm trying to grow. So, if you're into your horror movies, then hit that subscribe button right now and share the love. Right then, let's jump straight into Halloween Kills, released last October 2021. And for me, it's pretty rare for me to go and buy a ticket to see a new film on the opening night, but I was determined to be one of the first ones to see this movie just so nothing was spoiled for me, because I am a huge Halloween fan and I love all of the Halloween movies. I mean, some more than others, but honestly I love them all. Even if they made 100 more Halloween movies, I would watch every single one of them. So what about Halloween Kills then? What are my honest opinions on this movie? Well, for me personally, I absolutely loved this movie. When Halloween 2018 came out, that was my new favourite Halloween movie of all time, but now Halloween Kills has taken that title because it was that good. So the movie picks up straight from where it left off from the last movie, and everything that happens on the same night. Now we are introduced to some new characters in this movie and also some old faces. They brought back Marion Chambers from the very first Halloween movie. I mean, she was the nurse who was attacked in the original Halloween when Michael jumped onto the roof of the car and attacked her. We also have the return of Lindsay Wallace, played by the original same actress from the first movie, which I thought was really cool. We also had Tommy Doyle, but he was played by a different actor. However, for me that doesn't matter. I just love it when they bring back characters from original movies, even if they are recasts. It just makes the movie that much more special in my opinion. Now the new characters that they brought in for this movie, I thought they were really great. They were really strong characters with strong personalities that you really warmed to straight away. For example, the elderly couple who are playing with a drone. They may not have lasted very long in this movie, but I still absolutely adored them before they were brutally butchered by Michael Myers. I think my two new favourite characters were definitely Big John and Little John, who are now living in the Myers house. These two were a fantastic addition to the show. They were quite hilarious in certain parts of this movie, but it wasn't done in a cringy way, it just felt natural. And I was a little bit gutted when Big John and Little John were both killed. I would have liked to have seen them survive at least to the next movie, but saying that, they both had brutal death scenes, especially Big John. I can remember when I first saw his death scene in the cinema. It was brutal, with his eyeballs popping out with his brains. It was gross, but it was amazing. So one of the biggest plots in this movie is the whole of Haddonfield town hunting down Michael Myers and getting rid of him once and for all. They'd all finally had enough of Michael's reign of terror, and I absolutely loved it when it was all kicking off in the hospital. It was proper chaos and carnage. However, it was very sad when the people of Haddonfield chased the wrong guy through the hospital thinking that it was Michael, but instead it was the Umbrella Man, who was also in Halloween 2018, because if you remember, when the bus crashed, it wasn't just Michael who escaped, it was a few of the patients. So when the Umbrella Man was chased up a few floors of this hospital, the Umbrella Man ended up committing suicide by jumping off the building, and I'll be honest, it was really heartbreaking to watch. The whole scene was so emotionally charged up, and it was kind of frustrating being the person watching the movie, really wanting to scream at the people saying you're chasing the wrong guy. And that alone just shows how powerful this movie is, because you really get emotionally invested in it. Now I couldn't talk about this movie without talking about the flashback scenes, which I did really enjoy. It was nice to have a bit more of a backstory from 1978, and the way they filmed it actually felt like that I was watching some sort of deleted scenes from the original Halloween movie. And the fact that they brought back Dr. Loomis during these flashback scenes scenes was it was epic in my opinion, because as we all know, poor Donald Pleasence passed away some time ago now, and I felt the way that they made the scenes with Dr. Loomis, they were done in a very respectful way, to the point where if there is an afterlife after death, I reckon Donald Pleasence would be looking down and he would be very proud of this movie. Now the death scenes in this movie were pretty brutal. I think this was probably Michael Myers at his most brutalist. Is that a word? Brutalist? I don't know, but you all know what I mean, guys. I've already talked about Big John's death, but some of the other memorable death scenes were the old lady who had a smashed light pushed into her neck and twisted, and it was really gross but kind of like fascinating listening to the sounds. I'm a little bit sick in the head, but you know, I kind of liked this death scene. It was quite different. But I think what was more disturbing was when she ended up watching her husband being used as a knife cushion in the distance. We also had the car scene where Marion Chambers was stabbed to death and Marcus was stabbed right in the eyeball in the back of the car. But I think one of the most painful death scenes to sit through in this movie was Cameron's death towards the end, where his head was being bashed against the staircase over and over to the point where the staircase was smashed open, and then Michael started slamming his head and his neck and his chest up and down against what was left of the staircase, before eventually having his head twisted and neck broken. That was a pretty brutal scene. And this leads me up to one of my all-time favourite moments in the movie, and this is the moment when Karen stabs Michael in the back with some huge pitchfork before taking off Michael's mask and goading him to come and chase her to get his mask back, which of course Michael does. And when Michael storms after her, he finds his mask on the floor, and waiting for him is the baying mob. And I tell you what guys, this scene where the cars come down the road and then Michael puts on his mask to get ready to fight them, that was some amazing epic piece of music that they used, and it gave me goosebumps like you would not believe. I can even remember some of the people in the theatre cheering when this scene came on. It was an absolutely incredible scene which led to Michael fighting with the baying mob, which was just as amazing. Now, as we all know, there is another Halloween film coming out this year, so we all knew Michael wasn't going to die in this movie. I mean, is he ever going to die anyway? But this movie did end on a bit of a shocker, because main character Karen was brutally murdered by Michael in the very last few moments of the movie, which did shock me when it first happened. But I did kind of feel that either Karen or Allison were going to die in this movie. I'm kind of glad that it was Karen and not Allison. It kind of sets things up perfectly for the final movie. I mean, Laurie is going to be hell-bent on revenge, and so will Allison. Now, I know this movie did have some criticism for the lack of Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laurie Strode, but for me personally, the balance was kind of perfect, especially with the amount of new characters that was brought in. And to be honest, it felt more realistic because Laurie was seriously injured after getting stabbed in Halloween 2018, and seeing as Halloween Kills happens during the same night, it kind of made sense that Laurie wasn't going to be able to go after Michael and have showdowns with him. She wasn't at her full capacity, and it made sense to keep her in the hospital scenes. The best is yet to come in the next movie between Laurie and Michael, you mark my words. So, is there anything that I didn't like in this movie? Well, to be honest guys, not really. I mean, I've already mentioned that I was a little bit gutted that Big John and Little John were killed off, and maybe that phrase, evil dies tonight, was used just a little bit too much in this movie. But apart from that, I honestly cannot find any other criticism for this movie. I also love the Halloween Kills theme song that they used in the opening and at the end of the credits. And I am so super excited to see what they have planned for Halloween Ends later this year. So let's take a look over at Internet Movie Database and Rotten Tomatoes and see what this movie is currently rating at the time of me making this video. So over on the Internet Movie Database, it's currently rating as a 5.6 out of 10, which I am really shocked at. I really do not agree with that score at all. Let me delve in a little bit deeper. Okay, so the majority of people seem to have scored it a 6 out of 10, which, in my opinion, is still way too low. I mean, like, what the hell? This movie was amazing. Let's take a look over at Rotten Tomatoes. So, it has a tomato meter score of 40% and an audience score of 66%, which is a little bit better than the Internet Movie Database. Like, wow. I'm genuinely shocked at these scores because I thought this Halloween movie was outstanding. I mean, everyone is entitled to their opinions, of course, but I'm just genuinely shocked. I thought there would have been higher scores. Oh well guys, I am going to actually give this a personal score of 8.5 out of 10, which I think is much more deserving in my opinion, because even though I loved this movie, I still think the best is yet to come in the final film later this year. Anyway guys, that's my opinion on this movie. Now I want to hear your opinions. Let me know in the comments box below. Did you enjoy the Halloween Kills movie, or was it not your cup of tea? Were you a little bit disappointed? There is no wrong or right answer guys, we are all entitled to our own opinions, so let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments box below, because I'll be really interested to hear them all. Anyway guys, that's the end of the movie review. I hope you've all enjoyed the video, and if you're still here, then thank you all for sticking around until the end of the video. A while back I did do a top 10 moments of Halloween Kills, so if you want to go and watch that video, I'll leave a link at the top of the screen right now if you did want to go and check that one out. Okay guys, well thank you all for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe, and I'll see you all again very soon.